That's why I went out of town. Because I was depressed and thinking crazy thoughts in my head. Like you remember, you had a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with a sky hook.
Uh-huh.
When my brother had a hook, he could be in like what they now call 3-point range and go up with his hook. And he'd go straight up in the air and throw his hook, boom, and knock it off for you. You know, but
Mm-hmm.
um, if you remember correctly, there was a mayor of Detroit called Dave Bing.
I remember.
But Dave Bing and my brother used to play basketball together.
Mm.
We were from the same high school, but Coach Freeman didn't like my father, and he didn't. And because Stewart and Dave were tight, he wouldn't let him on the team. Dave's family sent him into D.C. He went to one of them D.C. schools and finished and graduated and went on to college. My brother went in the military, and it fucked his
Mm.
life up. Fucked his life up, right? Drinking and carousing and getting drunk and shit, getting high, chasing them heifers all over the country, getting in fights and shit. He just went nigger bad. He didn't go hustler bad, nigger bad. Right? So, um, he, um, I don't know about my other brothers and sisters, but I take every death or loss real personal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Stuart died from kidney failure. He had been on dialysis 13 years. He was a vet, and the VA could never find a kidney for him. Could never find a cure. Could never help him, and that upset me to no end. And with my father died with uh, kidney failure. Kidneys is what killed my father. The actual thing that actually killed him. And he was in a room next to a 70-year-old white man who was on the dialysis machine. He was white in PG County Hospital. And he was here being saved by a kidney machine. My father was 43 years old, and the next one dying without a kidney machine. That bothered me. Stuff like that sticks in my mind, and I don't say it to my brothers and sisters because I don't tell them because they get emotional about my father, about my father and mother, right? They get emotional. I'm always emotional about them. Always, I'm always upset about that. Keeps tugs at my heartstring. And when they say, well, when somebody say, well, I got white friends, and da 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 da, I look at them like, okay, I'm glad for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't hate white folks. I just don't have that level of trust. Like my doctor for his cancer, he need to tell me something good on my next visit because uh, I need to know what's going on because I've been depressed lately. That's why I went out of town because I was depressed, thinking crazy thoughts in my head. You know, real crazy thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get that together.
Right. And when you said you were thinking crazy thoughts, you were it, it was about your cancer or about white people?
About my life.
Okay.
Um, See, cancer and white people, and black people, and short people,
Hmm.
and tall people,
Just
certain
in general.
people, everything are like parts that fit into a whole picture.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at my life like things are going was trying to go kind of smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I got a letter in the mail from Social Security. They want to try to cut my Social Security off for fraud, and I haven't committed any fraud. I don't understand why they would do that But that's these Goldsboro people down here in Goldsboro, New Hope, uh, and it's some black guy. I got to talk to him. I don't know who initiated it, but no, people make phone calls on you and say things and try to, fuck. They ain't got nothing better to do but fuck with your life, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, somebody from Fremont called down there, probably from around the town hall, you know, running them off, making some kind of claim. The only time that the IRS or the Social Security want to talk to you about fraud is somebody made a report.
Right.
So that's how that goes. I'll deal with that on Tuesday, 9 o'clock
Right.
in the morning. So, but I had to get away for a little bit because uh, all that kind of stuff uh, and my neighbor out back building shit on my property here and not saying nothing and just standing. He built it and stand back, watch. And
Right.
I ain't say nothing. My brother say, let it go, don't say nothing. Um, so I'm gonna take his lead on it until
Mm-hmm.
they, until he get really out of hand. Then I'm gonna check his white ass. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I'm gonna let it go. Stuff like that. It bothers me that my ego get involved, and I have to watch that.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why I listen to my brothers because I don't let my ego dictate
Mm-hmm.
my life anymore. Because there was a
Mm-hmm.
time that I would have said, I'd have went back there and beat his white ass up and drug him out there and made him tear that shit down. You
Mm-hmm.
know, because I think I'm a tough guy. I think I'm a bad MF, right?
Right.
And but I'm going out my way to try not to be a bad guy like that.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to be, a nice guy. You know,
Yeah. And that's
somebody.
what's for the best.
Yeah. Sometimes it is, but you know, I don't expect women to understand how men do what they do,
Mm-hmm.
because you know, a woman can say, "Well, let it go," and da da da, but sometimes a man can't let it go because the
Mm-hmm.
guy he's trampling your manhood,
Right.
and dude is trampling my manhood. He literally is trampling my manhood, literally. By building that shit on my backyard like that, he's literally challenging my manhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I shouldn't have to take it like that, but that's how he's presenting it. So
Right.
um, I'm not gonna deal with it. You know, his father is dead now. He passed away, but he told me he could take 10 feet of my yard if he wanted. I told him he can get 6 feet of dirt if he like. I don't know. I don't know about the whole yard. He can get 6 feet of dirt if he like. Um, they seem to have never met a black man who will look them in the eye and tell them exactly what's what. Um, I really dislike some of the black guys in this town because they come off to me like they're the roughest, toughest, dangerous, Dan McGrew kind of guys on the planet, but they got these white guys treat them any kind of way they want. You know, I'm going like, you know, but uh, I'm glad that I've learned at my old age. I've learned to be cool and
Right.
measure things.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let it get next to me because I would have been on it. I would have been in North Carolina penitentiary if I reacted to everything that they said and did.
Because
The
that's
way I
that's just a trick. It's just a trick to get you out, get you back to where you was. You don't want to do that.
yeah, and it's about power. They don't have the power to do
Hmm.
that,
Exactly.
and they only have the power I give them. I understand that.
Exactly.
I understand that.
And if you use this right here, come Tuesday, you'll be just fine. You'll be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Uh,
But I do want to ask you, just to switch gears, how have you been communicating with Dolores Chapman?
I don't communicate with her.
Okay.
My my daughter and I had an argument on the internet 4 days ago, 3 days ago.
Okay.
She got it off her chest. I wasn't there. You weren't there for me. I spent from the age of 8 to 18 in foster care. Um, you're not much of a father. You're not much of a man. Da 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 da. Da. And I listened to all that crazy shit, right?
Okay.
And she right. I wasn't much of a father.
Okay.
Um, but not because I didn't love her or I didn't want to be. Um, at the time I got her mother pregnant, I was on a work release pass, and I had to go back to prison every day.
Okay.
And so I couldn't be there for that. I had gotten out of prison, and I was out on a weekend pass when her mama had the baby. So I
Okay.
went to the hospital, and that's where I signed the papers, right?
Okay.
And her mother, her mother's mother asked me, when you gonna marry my daughter? I said, well, your daughter has 3 other children. Why did you ask them when they're gonna get married? She said, well, no. My daughter said, y'all dated. I said, I'm dated the daughter. I only met your daughter once, twice. Once to get her pregnant, and another time at the hospital when she had the baby. She says, no, not. She told me. I said, hey, I've been in prison. I'm just getting out of prison. I was on a work release program. I wouldn't have been able to get to see the baby had I not been given the grant a weekend to go home, right? And her mama was awesome, tripping shit. See, what comes with light skin is people thinking you're weak. Dark skinned black people think you're weak or you're stupid. And I'm not stupid or weak.
Okay. We'll follow up on that question in a minute. Keep going. We'll go back to the question I was going to ask you with that.
Um,
But
so um, Nicole took me through those changes. I said, well, I'm not going to argue with you over the phone. She's got a lot of drama, a lot of hatred in her heart. And I didn't want to fight with her. She's it's my baby girl. I'm not going to argue with her, fight with her, say nothing stupid to her, nothing like that. I love
okay.
her. But she's not going to keep coming to me with that shit about my mama said that, mama said that, when it was your mother who put you in foster care over top of the objections of my mother,
Okay.
right? She kept saying she didn't have no family. That's not true. That's not true. She had my family, right? My
Okay.
mama went to see her 4 or 5 times in Baltimore City. Tried to get Dolores to give Nicole to her because I was on the run at the time.
Okay.
Feds was FBI was after me,
Hmm.
and I couldn't go by that because they was after me so hard because her mother kept calling Patuxent. That's the place I was paroled from. I seen him. He came by here. I seen he got a baby by me. Patuxent wanted to. They tried to violate my parole for um, getting that girl pregnant and not telling them about it. There was and then there was a mishap about a liquor store break-in, and my name got caught up in it, but there was no real foundation for it. So Patuxent, they wanted to bring me in. They said hold me for 6 months while they clear all this shit up. They was gonna hold me for 20 more years. I went on about my business. I wasn't going for that. I hadn't done nothing. And all the lawyers had to do is don't call the police on me every chance you got. I wasn't fighting her. I never put my hands on her. I go by there and play with my baby a dozen times, more than that. Every weekend I would go by there when I got out, go and play with my baby. I was there with my baby girl,
Hmm.
but I wouldn't have sex with her.
Okay.
We weren't, we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, right? And I enjoyed the company of the baby, but she took all that out on her. And now the girl blames me for what her mama did. And, you know, she's got it all mixed up and screwed up and messed up in her head. And she don't want to be straightened out about it. She
Okay.
don't want she don't want to be. So all that's on her. All that's on her. So but Dolores Chapman, if she burst into flames, I wouldn't piss on her and put her out.
Hmm.
Simple.
Okay.
Um, she married to some African dude now anyway. From what I hear, her daughter, Nicole told me she's paralyzed, living in a home and all of. I don't care. Keep updating me about her condition. I don't care. I got my own shit to worry about. You know?
Right.
When I came home, Nicole had them babies, and she said, "I'm having trouble collecting here. I'm broke in South Carolina." My response was, "Well, how about child support from the baby's father? Or they're not gonna pay." So she never took them to court for child support. You know, she never. I don't believe she has. And
Right.
so I had some money saved up from when I was on the run for my retirement. You know, so I gave her a real serious chunk of money when I came home. I broke myself. That's why I'm in Fremont now. Had I kept my money, I could have probably gotten together and went and did something to make some money. You know, open a business or something. I had enough to do that.
Hmm.
I, because I'm soft-hearted. I did it like that. Left me stranded because I kind of thought when I got out I would be able to go juggle and make some money, right? But I had not given thought to the fact that I'm not hustling no more. I'm not choking nobody. I'm not collecting money from no gangsters. I'm not extorting anyone. I'm not robbing. I'm not doing none of that. I'm just sitting, chilling, trying to work. You know, so the weight of the world is on my shoulders as far as finances go, and all I got is work. And now the doctors tell me I can't work. So, because not only do I have a cancer issue, I got a heart disease issue. So I'm dealing with that. I'm eating salads and eating like a rabbit and chilling out. I don't nobody feel sorry for me, nothing like that, because I've been a villain. But I paid all my dues at every turn.
Right.
Um, but for her to come off on me like she did the other day, like she had all this pent up rage and anger, I'm saying, get that crap to your mama. She the one that did that shit to you.
Hmm.
Because she could have been raised with my mother with a razor, because my mother had my my sister Nita's two daughters, and then my sister Gail had two daughters who she was raising, and a couple of nephews, and it was all like in the universe surrounded around where my mother was, and she would have been happy. She would have been raised with her cousins and been happy. She had a whole slew of cousins, but she talking about I ain't got no family. This my best friend. Blah, 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 blah. Her best, you know, it's like when she got old enough to pick between um, things that she wanted in her life, she went and got the worst and put that in her life. And
Okay.
by herself, she made some adult choices. And she need to own up to that. Don't let that out. Don't bring it to 203 North Dock Street, because
Okay.
you're talking about you didn't want to see me. You told me to wait till after the pandemic. Yeah, I wanted you to wait till after the pandemic. I mean, I'm 70 years old with a whole gang of health issues. Why I want you over here with them babies breathing all over me? You
Right.
know? And she threw that up in my face. I went, okay, you know. Anything, she reminded me of guys who was in prison with me. Anything to win an argument, right? That's why I don't argue. I didn't argue with her the other day. I'm not going to argue.
So you feel that she just had a lot of excuses?
Yeah,
And she just blamed the wrong people or the wrong
yeah. I mean,
person.
yeah. She blaming me for her life when she was 8 to 18. Well, the woman I spent 7 or 8 days with in Atlanta was named Robin. Robin's a good friend of mine.
Hmm.
Robin, we were friends for, me and Robin has been friends for 35, 37, 39, 40 years. And Robin knows that there's been times I didn't pay my rent on time because I was paying the private detective to find my daughter while I was on the run trying to
Okay.
find my daughter, right? My mama had expressed um, a desire to be with my daughter, and I tried to find her for that, right?
Okay.
I never find her. And then I found out she was in foster care. That's why I couldn't find her, because she was in foster care.
And what age was this when you did find her in foster care?
I didn't find she was in foster care till I was back in prison in 2002.
Okay.
And she got in touch with me.
How old was she then?
I don't know, 2000. She's 38 now, so 2002, 2012, just 20 years ago.
Hmm.
She was coming out of foster care, 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, just
Okay.
coming out of foster care. Um, she probably went through pure hell in foster care, you know,
Right.
and I sympathize with that. I have empathy for that. But I didn't put her through hell. I tried to capture her and bring her to where she would have family who would
Hmm.
look out for her. And when I got out, I gave her a chunk of cash. I introduced her to her female cousins because she kept saying, "I don't have no cousins." I'm like, "Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You got um, you got an aunt named Anita who's got 2 daughters, and both of them got a slew of children. Your babies have cousins that they can grow up with. An entire whole 25, 30 people, right? I'm talking about the close family nucleus. I ain't talking about the loose ones in Philly and Jersey and Delaware and Virginia, right? She acting like she don't have nobody, but that's because that's all she wants,
Right.
and that's her thing. That's the way she wants it. So I'm gonna let it be like that. I didn't wash my hands of her, but I'm not going to argue with her, or fight with her, or try to keep explaining to her like she retarded. You know, she my daughter. She's not retarded. She's smart as hell.
Hmm.
So she my daughter, so she's resilient. She's got strength. Um, she and maybe she even understands her power,
Hmm.
right? But
But you
whatever.
but you are accountable. You do realize that it is still not her fault. It is still ultimately your fault and her mother's fault where she ended up.
You honestly, it's my fault because
Hmm.
because every time I would go to Baltimore to see her, her mother would call down to Patuxent. You have to understand, Patuxent was a civil commitment for me. I was deemed emotionally disturbed, emotionally unbalanced, with an educational deficiency, and I was in therapy and all kind of stuff there. And a civil commitment means that there was like somebody with mental issues, right?
Hmm.
Um, how do I put this? All her mama had to do was be cool, and I would took the baby and raised her. But she made it so I had to leave because when people said, "Look, you need to come down here and talk to us," because they say you broke into a liquor store. I said, "I ain't broken a liquor store. You know I ain't broken a liquor store." You know, they picked me up, and the magistrate let me go, saying that this wasn't the guy, because a witness said he wasn't the guy.
Right.
So that in itself wasn't grounds to take me and lock me back up. But the fact that I had a baby on their watch and didn't tell them about it was grounds to lock me up, and it was written out grounds. And
Right.
I decided I didn't want to go back to prison. I was already in prison for something I didn't do, and which is why I went to Patuxent in the beginning. Um, uh, I wasn't going back to prison. Fuck that. I was walked back to the prison gate, let me in. I got a, you need got a cell for me. I'm not. I've never been. Oh no. So I went on about my business. I absconded. I went on about my business. I left because I don't know if the Lord's mother was part of that or what. Her decision making in that part. But don't press me out because I'm light skinned. I got a thing about people thinking I'm weaker. I'm weak. You know, I'm so sick of dark skinned blacks thinking light skinned blacks are weak. I run into that here in Goldsboro all the time because I'm light skinned. They think I'm weak. I mean,
Mm.
I've had people cut me off in grocery stores, um, bump into me and look me up and down like, what, right?
Mm.
And I mean, I'm a two-time convicted killer. Why are you fucking with me? You know?
Right.
I mean, he doesn't know that, but I'm sure the look on my face says I'm not no pushover, no pansy, no weak
Mm.
dude. I'm sure I carry myself in a way that says I ain't to be fucked with, right?
Right.
But um, why I gotta be on guard like that all the time? That's stressful on my system. It makes my body hurt inside, being stressed out like that all the time because people don't know how to live defensively like me. I'm on the
Right.
defense all the time. Excuse me, thank you. Um, can I help you? I'm contrite. I'm apologetic. I try to read up on stuff, be knowledgeable. So if I'm asked a question, I can answer it intelligently. But it's like I'm living around a bunch of bloodthirsty savages who got nothing on the ball, but they got a gun in their belt or 4 or 5 buddies with them, a knife, or a real bad history, and they want to blame everybody for their shit. You know. So no,
That's why I said we're gonna get back. I put that question to the side about the light skin, dark skin. I'm not gonna forget about that. But you said that your daughter was very resilient and she's smart like you. That's why I had stated to you that you had to take a part in your position along with her mother's position in saying that it is ultimately both of you guys' fault in her upbringing for just generally the sole fact that
I wasn't there.
everyone, well, the fact that you know that when you have sex you make babies, and you know that you had to go back to prison
I
every day,
understand that.
just
I
that
understand
aspect,
that.
that's all I'm saying,
But
you
but
know so
as far as her upbringing, I mean, sure, I helped bring her in the world. But as far as her upbringing, I never had a real shot at it because when I went by there to visit, um, she would limit my time with the girl. And then before I could get in the car and go back to Maryland, go back to DC, she was on the phone calling Patuxent. Patuxent was telling me, "Why were you in Baltimore?" I said, "To visit my daughter." Well, we didn't know you had a daughter. I said, "Well, yeah, I got a daughter. I think she's mine. I'm not sure." And that my saying, "I think she's mine. I'm not sure," to those white people is the only thing that kept them from coming and getting me out of my bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. The deputy sheriff dragging me back to prison. The only thing. Um, so, I mean, I didn't have an active hand in raising her. Had I had an active hand in raising her, she'd have been different than she is now. She wouldn't be so damn angry,
But if
right?
you think about but you know what, Ralph, if you think about it, and this is not even a woman's perspective or a man's perspective, just a world's perspective. Um, if you look at your upbringing, and you said that your household dynamic, I'm sorry, you have a mother, you have a father, you spoke very highly of the way your mother, raised you all, the way your father, held the house down. Well, did, he worked 3 jobs, the way your mother held the house down. Like it was just amazing. When you left out and you met Dolores, you were not your father and she was not your mother. Therefore, when you laid down with her, you could not expect for this to be Nicole's outcome. And I mean, the odds were totally against you all, like everyone
You
else in
know,
the world that don't have
you,
that dynamic makeup. So what do we expect to happen? I mean, even if we had a dynamic makeup of what you all have, what your parents had with 9 children, the odds of all of you all being successful could still be slim to none. You still may have that one that just don't get it together. Like in my household, it's a family of 4. So if my mother and father raised 3 of us that got it together, but I'm just the one that, went left, thank God that it was only Bridget that went left versus the other 3 that did good. You understand what I'm saying? So if Dolores is Dolores and Ralph is Ralph, then what chance did Nicole even have? So how can you not take
hey,
responsibility?
I'm not taking responsibility her upbringing because her mama blocked me at every turn. She blocked my mother at every turn. She blocked my sister at every turn. That
No,
girl didn't
Nicole,
have to.
you don't think Nicole was blocked from the beginning before she was even created in her mother's womb? When
No,
you don't think so?
I never laid down with her. We fucked in the doorway standing up. Only met her one time, and
That's
that
how
was
she was blocked. You don't think that's how she was blocked? Because she, you
Nicole
don't
was
think she,
blocked by her mother because her mother forced her into foster care when she didn't have to go to foster care. If she would have, if she would have went, my mother went to visit, and she would have said, "Well, look, you take her with you." My mother was all prepared at a place set up for at home to bring her home with her. It was already set up. I was sending money to my mother to set it up at her house. I would
mhm.
have sent money and paid for her everything. Because for 20 years I lived in Atlanta, and Nicole would have been fine. I would have had visits with her. Shit, my brother Clyde would have brought her down to Georgia where I was at, or actually, my brother was living here in Fremont during those years, and he would go up and get my mother and bring her to Fremont, and I would come up from Atlanta to hang out with my mother for a weekend right here in Fremont.
Mhm.
I mean, we a tight knit family like that. We took care of that, and she would have Nicole would because she was my daughter, she would have fell right into that. The loving arms and care of of her grandmother, her uncles, her aunts, and her cousins, and they would have been raised up together. I mean, I got 2 nieces that have PhDs, two other ones that uh at the top of the employment scale. These girls are dynamic. These women something special, financially, emotionally, mentally, morally. I mean, you're talking about some strong, resilient women. I mean, she come from some. She could have got all of that from my mother. My mother raised them, put that spark in them for real. She could have got all of that, but Dolores stopped that. Dolores is because of that. And I mean, I tried. I, I went to visit. I tried. I sent my mama and my sister to get her. I tried, and for her to lay it on me like that, the way she did the other day, she was wrong. But I didn't cuss her or nothing like that, because sooner or later she'll come to see that coming at me like that was not right. But I have to wait until that time comes. I have to wait until that time reveals itself. And I'm patient. I can wait. If I live, I'll see it. If not, you know, and maybe she feels guilt because she fucked up my retirement. She took all my money. I gave it to her, and I took her, but I gave it to her. Then for her to front on Facebook about how she got a big house and 2 cars, you know, 2 SUVs, and she keeps marrying crazy people. She first married a white boy and tried to get me to come to South Carolina and beat him up. I wouldn't do it. She just married a nigga who he is, but she divorced him. And she tried to get me to come to South Carolina and beat him up. It's like she keeps trying to get me to come and compromise my freedom to show her that I love her by beating somebody up. Because I don't know. But I'm not going to South Carolina fighting nobody. I'm not going there. I'm not going to. I don't do that. Because from a fight, there could come a killing. It could be I could get killed or dude could get killed. Dudes don't fight no more. They use guns. They shoot and kill. I'm not putting myself involved in line for that kind of craziness. Not going to do it. Not going to happen. Mr. Wilkins not going to do it. And if she can't understand that, then okay. I can live with her being mad with me and not talking to me and saying, well, you ain't shit and all the good shit she said the other day. Okay, I can live with that. That's how she feel. I can live with it. That's real. That's real talk. So
Well,
how long we gonna have this conversation today?
today,
Great.
however long you would like. Did you want to cut off? Did you want to take a break?
Well, uh, I was invited to a fish fry.
Okay. Okay.
that started about 7, right? But we can hang on. If you got more questions, we can go another 20 minutes.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Let's see. I just had a few more questions. To close that out, I totally understand where you're coming from, Ralph, with that, that's definitely a personal subject, between you and your daughter. The only thing that I was just trying to put across, I mean, it's just when it comes to even food, my only example I can use, if I go on a meat market and I have a choice of picking the freshest meat and I choose to pick spoiled meat and I eat it, the only person I can blame is myself. Um because I ate, the spoiled meat. That was the only thing I was trying to get you to see in the beginning. Now, as far as everything else, as far as your daughter coming back to you, the way she talked to you, you're absolutely right. We as people, we have to treat people with respect no matter how we feel. So that'll be a conversation. Hopefully, if God changes her heart, she will come back to you, and hopefully, you all can mend your relationship, because ultimately, that is the goal. No matter what happens, and both of you all realize that you do definitely need each other.
One I love, two she loves, three she's true to me.
I did want to know, did you ever see any of the family members of the um, person that was, well, the convictions that you had for the manslaughter or the murder? Did you ever come in contact with either of the family members? And if so, what type of interaction was it? Did you ever apologize or, like
Show remorse?
emotional, show remorse, like,
Nope.
okay,
I met Thomas Magellan Lewis's sister when they
okay,
brought me back and they violated my parole. She came in. She came in and gave a victim's impact statement.
hmm
And I asked her. I said, "Why would you want to come in here and say that I did this and I did that? You don't know what happened that day. And are you responsible for the children that your brother raped?"
Mhm.
And the parole board looked at me. I said, yeah, he was a child rapist. You know, she jumped up and started out the room. I said, don't leave. Please don't leave. You know, these people are deciding my fate. Well, my brother's dead. I said, maybe he had it coming, you know, and she left out the room. Parole board asked me, said, well, what do you mean he had it coming? I said, he started a fight. He pulled a sawed-off shotgun. We wrestled for it and went off and he killed him. Well, I don't see that in the file. See, I said, it's because I never testified to it. I never made a statement about it. I just let it ride the whole time because during the time that I went to trial, if I get on the stand, the first thing they're going to say is, didn't you just finish parole for killing somebody else?
Right, right,
And
right. Uh-huh.
they're going to execute me. They're going to say, because I'm charged with first degree capital murder.
Mhm.
And they was trying to send me to the gas chamber, and I wasn't trying to go there. So no, I didn't say nothing during the trial. I sat quiet just like this. Nothing. That's the way it was. So I said, shoot.
Mhm.
So, uh, I don't have no remorse for it. I'm sorry that he died, but I'm also glad that I didn't die.
Right. Mhm. Absolutely.
I didn't go there to fight him. I went there to talk to him. He wanted
Mhm.
to fight, and then he wanted to kill me. All that violence was his idea, not mine. So, um, he was a dark-skinned black who thought I was weak. I was
Mhm.
young and weak, and then he could take advantage. The guy had been in prison 2 or 3 times for child molestation. He was kidnapping people's children and having sex with them and selling them back. And he went to jail, and then to keep from going to jail, he turned into a rat. He was telling PG County police everything they want to know about a guy about people's drugs and stuff. So um, that was, those were crazy times in my life, you know. And I'm not a nice guy. I was wrong. I was home invading people, robbing them,
Mhm.
putting knives on people's necks, taking the drugs out of their pocket, beating them up, taking their stuff. I've been a bad guy. But
Mhm.
that night, he was trying to kill me. He thought he had a right because I had beat him up.
Right.
You know, he made a statement about a group of young girls walking along about how he would like to fuck them, you know, and one of them was my little sister. So I beat him up because I didn't know if he was
Mhm.
talking about my sister or not. And he talking about, let's talk about this, let's come to some kind of understanding, da da da. And I said, okay, cool. I go up there, he got a sawed-off shotgun, he didn't want to shoot me with it.
Mhm.
No, I don't feel sorry for him. You know, I feel sorry that it went that far because it took a big chunk out of my life.
Right.
Any sorrow and remorse I have is left for me for being in prison most of my life about it, for putting me in a position to get stabbed, infected, uh, hit across the head, um, all that, all that stuff I went through in prison. I went through a lot of stuff in prison. Food poisoning that made me think I was gonna die. Um, crazy stuff. Niggas chasing around the jail with shanks, trying to tell them, man, open the cell, we're gonna kill Frog. Open the cell, we're gonna kill Frog. And, you know,
Mhm.
five or six of them want to come and kill me because one of them messed up and I beat him up. You know, that's why I stopped fighting and beating people up because um, black guys, there's a whole. It started. I started in the '80s. I started in the '70s when the state took over and started arresting black guys, black males. It took the discipline out of the home and left it to the state. Those guys don't know discipline.
Right.
And when you correct them and you discipline them, they get mad. They get upset and they want to kill you over it. And I came up in a household where you messed up, you had to pay for it. These guys were selling their mother's drugs. They don't care, selling their own family members' drugs. having sex with their own family members and shit. Raping other guys' butts when they come to jail because it was the thing to do. Um, choking 4 or 5 of them, running the cell and stab a guy up and rape him before they leave. You know, these are the kind of people that you have in prison in the state of Maryland. I don't know about nowhere else. Um, it was like that back in the 70s, because I was only in jail 11 and a half years before I got parole and got out. So, you know,
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. I'm sorry.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to ask you about Walter Melvin Richardson and Quincy. I know that you said that they were there, um, and you had it was when they had said that you hit the guy for the manslaughter charge, and
Right.
um, I wanted to know, did you ever see them after, and did you
No.
question them? Okay, okay.
No.
Because I wanted to know if that was like an experience where did you ever get an opportunity to walk up to them?
Well, they had a brother named Shandy, who was my
Okay.
age.
Mhm.
Shandy was like a year older than me, right? 2 years older than me. Shandy was a really big, really brutal dude.
Mhm.
When I came home 18, 19 months later from prison, I was big and brutal. And
Okay.
Shandy had just come back from Vietnam, and he was a serious, serious individual,
Okay.
right? And Walter Melvin had been killed while I was gone in prison. The Bogle guy had became a magistrate in Prince George's County,
Okay.
and I couldn't find him. But I wanted to see him, to see them two guys, but I never got the opportunity.
Right.
And it would have put me and Shandy on a collision course because we had words anyway at a liquor store one night, a place called Sandy Liquor Store. He walked up on me and he said, "I heard you said some stuff about my brothers about killing that guy." And I told him, "Yeah, they killed him. They had to kill him because when I left, he was alive, right?"
Right.
He said, "Well, why would you say?" I said, "Because because they went to the police and said I did it and I didn't do it. We was up on the corner in Chapel Oaks, uh, about 50 feet away from where I killed Tom Lewis, Junkie Tom,
Mhm.
the guy I went to jail for. It,
Okay.
it was a hustling strip, you know, um, and he still stood there. But I had a 45 on me. I would have shot him dead had he put his hands on me because he was twice my size. You know how big I am, right?
Right.
Shannon was 6'5" and 300 pounds. He was built like a you seen them fireplaces on people's houses. He was
Right.
big like that. I mean, the guy was standing there. The sun was behind him, and I was in the shade. And I kept trying to step back, and I didn't want to be, but I wasn't afraid of him. I would have shot him and killed him, you know.
Mhm.
Had he put his hands on me or tried to, because a guy named Lamont Adair shot Shandy 6 times with a 32, and he beat Lamont Adair to death after he got shot.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's a vicious, big vicious cat, you know, and he's still alive, you know. So I don't know his government name. I know everybody call him Shandy.
Right. Okay. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to share
Um,
that you
unless you
felt
want
we
to
maybe?
talk about some of the wrong shit I did, because I did a lot of wrong things.
Right. Right.
You know, I punched a lot of dudes in the mouth,
Mhm.
and I've done a lot of wrong things to people for nothing, just because I could do it like a bully, right?
Mhm.
You know. Just because I could, I did it. And if we want to talk about those things, as we talk, I remember a lot of things. I remember a lot
Right.
of stuff.
And you said you
Um,
did it just because you could. Now, would that have anything to do with, I mean, because even going back, I know I told you that we would touch bases on that question, and I was saving it for the end. I mean, all throughout from the very first part that we spoke about, the very first time that we spoke, the first interview up until the second interview, we talked so much about the light skin, the dark skin, the fact that you started off with from a little boy thinking that you were white because you were light skinned to waking up to knowing that you weren't white because different experiences told you, as well as family, um and then the way you were treated. So please enlighten me on how you are treated um from dark skinned people to the point where you feel that it's based just generally, like, were you told this? Because like no one had to tell me that I was light skinned, so I know that I'm light skinned. But no one
I
has
think my
actually approached me to tell me, "Hey, I'm treating you like you're stupid because you're light skinned." No, no one has ever told me that. So they could be treating me
oh,
like I'm stupid because I'm light skinned, but no one's told me that, so I don't know. So I need you to let me
they
know if
don't
that's why I'm being treated that way.
they don't tell you. But when somebody come to you and tell you something that they know is a lie, and that
Okay.
you know it's a lie, something so utterly stupid and backwards until it just don't make no sense on no scale. You know that you ask yourself, why are they telling me that?
Okay.
I didn't think that I would believe some shit like that.
Okay.
I think I'm stupid. Why
Okay.
do they think I'm stupid? You know, two and two is always four with me, and I'm
Okay.
very analytical. I
Hmm.
analyze everything. So well, because I remember when I was young, the young black, the little dark skinned kids would pull my hair, yank,
Okay.
yank, 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 or hit me in the mouth, pop, or um, I'd be in line for water and they'd step in front of me and take my place in the water line.
Okay.
Excuse me. Speaking of water, uh, stuff like that, or the little girls looking at me and winking because I was light skinned.
Okay.
I had light eyes and nice curly hair.
Hmm.
Their mothers going, "Oh, you need beauty, you need beauty." My aunts used to. I think my aunt Teeny must have told me, "Boy, you look white.
Hmm.
You look like your grandmama. You look like your grandmama." You know, I think one of them must have been white or something. 'Cause I think so. So my aunts, I had four aunts out of Philly. They treated me all together different than they treated my sister and brothers.
Okay.
They treated me like I was special, and maybe now they think I'm special because of special ed. I don't know, but yeah, I was given the impression that I was better than everybody by my aunts.
Okay.
My mama, my aunts didn't get along with each other because they didn't like she didn't like the way they fawned over me, right?
Okay.
That that and the fact that they always had some kind of mess that they was trying to put on. You know, they was always fermenting some crazy garbage, right? Um, but that's how that went. You know, my phone is about out of fuel.
But I'm dying to know though. I gotta know how am I supposed to know if the reason why they told me something is just so crazy and idiotic, that don't make sense is because I'm light skinned. Like, how am I supposed to put 2 + 2 = 4? How do I know? Oh, that's because I'm light skinned. How did you get that out of that?
Um, Growing up, right, in an all black community, uh, You had light-skinned people there, and you had dark-skinned people there. And growing up around people they always treated light-skinned people different than the black. Blacks have their own hierarchy like that. They do that.
I totally get that.
They treat dark-skinned people different than they treat dark-skinned or light-skinned people. And I don't know if it's better or worse or what.
Okay.
But it happens, and it happens. You know, but when you run into white people, you find out that all y'all black. Well, don't care how dark or light you are.
Mm-hmm.
In those days, racism was terrible, and it was terrible. It went from black to white, from black to black. You know, because wasn't no white people in my neighborhood to treat us bad. It was all black people that got treated bad. Wasn't no white folks. We didn't have nobody white nowhere. School, church, neighborhood, nowhere. Wasn't no white people nowhere in my scenario. Nowhere, not one. No, one old Jew guy had a Jew store around the corner, but I wasn't exposed to him at all. He didn't come out and bother nobody. But we would play hide and seek with the neighborhood kids, and I would get a little far away from home playing hide and seek. None of my brothers ever played with them. They was my generation. And they would try to do stuff like, let's pull his pants down and see if his drawers is clean. Shit like that, you know.
Right.
Or they had their own version of Sadie Hawkins, where the girls would take switches and chase the guys and beat them with them. And I would have 5 girls chasing me, trying to whip the shit out of me, and 3 of them chasing me, trying to hold me down and kiss me.
Right.
So, you know,
One I love, 2 she loves, 3 she's true to me.
that's how that went, you know. But it's just a feeling, right? I could say that it wasn't like that, but then I don't have nothing to connect to it.
Okay.
You know, I connected to actions and words of other people toward other people.
Okay.
You know, you learn from your environment. You know, my environment said you light skinned, you must think you're white, or you know, black people hate white folks, really, really do, and you know, slave field nigga, house nigga kind of shit, right?
Right.
Oh, you a house nigga, you think you better than us.
Okay.
Because the master raped your mama, or maybe he didn't rape her. I don't know. And he got this little mulatto baby, right? And
Okay.
I'm a little light skinned kid. Even though my mother and daddy was black, they was brown skinned. My mother and father were a handsome couple. I would show you a picture of them. My phone is I'm down to like 1%.
Okay. You don't have a charger?
There's no charger I can hook up in this area. Where I'm at, I'm in the kitchen. I can go in the living room and do it. Go in by the computer and do it.
Okay.
But I go in there, maybe, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, because it's just probably just the end. I'm just going to close this one out and then edit it and be done. Yeah,
Can you
that's
see me
good.
pretty good?
Oh yeah. Because if you think about the whole, like you said, the whole race thing, and you said it comes from like an environment thing, and everyone around you is talking about it, is that something that you feel, well, I would have to say it's something that affected you, because if it started at a younger age and you are in your 70s and it's something that is still programmed in you,
What you
it
mean
followed you all
programming?
the way. You still feel, going from place to place. It's still connected to you. You still
Oh,
feel that it's going on to this day.
I'm sensitive to people's actions and stuff. I'm extremely perceptive.
Okay. So
You
you
know,
realize that could possibly be the case.
I know that's the case. Um, dark-skinned blacks think light-skinned blacks are weaker. You know,
Well, some could think that because of your experience, but you don't know when you pull up at the store, like you said,
I'm talking
that
about
that particular
the older
person is
ones.
thinking that about you.
I'm talking about the older ones. I ain't talking about the younger ones.
Okay.
The older ones feel that they that you're stupid or that or something or that they're strong or that I'm weaker or whatever. They don't
Okay.
they don't they don't they don't. I mean, now, sometimes people see. I'm talking about up north. I ain't talking about down here.
Okay. Okay.
I'm talking about 60 years ago, not today.
Okay.
Um, things have changed from then to now in a lot of ways, but I still feel it because I went through it, and
Gotcha.
uh, I'm on guard for it because uh, you can't. You try to do business with people. You try to have conversations. You try to uh, just be cordial, and people, people have issues with you
Mhm.
because they just have issues. They're just the kind of people that have issues. You know, the older generations, they're not as good about it's good about keeping things to themselves. They'll let
Mhm.
their feelings out in a heartbeat. You know, so
Right.
you just feel it. I just feel it.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you something else. Down here in North Carolina, it's different than in Atlanta. North
Okay.
Carolina is like in between as far as reactions and times and people, places, and stuff, right? Um, when I first came to North Carolina, I used to speak to everybody. Good morning, how you doing? I was a nice guy.
Huh.
But after the third or fourth person, when I said good morning, how you doing, told me I got a boyfriend, I snapped and I started saying, stupid old hag, I'm just saying good morning.
Mhm.
So that calling them out their name left a bad taste in their mouth for me from around here in Fremont. So
Right.
uh, they don't talk to me here in Fremont. I don't talk to them because it hurts my feelings when I'm saying good morning just because I'm a nice guy. Because it's a good morning. I'm a God-centered dude. I'm a spiritual guy. And they look me in my face and tell me I got a boyfriend. And they old and they 70 years old, 60 years
Mhm.
old. They still old black women still here play the dating game.
Mhm.
Like when we was back from the 50s and the 60s.
Mhm.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to date you. I'm a Muslim. Muslims don't date, they marry. That's why I
Right.
don't chase women. I'm not going
Right.
to chase them because if I catch them and they're not Muslim, there's nothing I can do with them because I'm not going to have sex with them.
Right.
I prefer to stay celibate. um, because I say how you doing in a nice way don't mean I'm flirting. And I really, really, really dislike going through that with people. I really dislike going go through that with them. You know, hell, I had a guy. I almost had to fight a guy around and join us because I spoke to the girl that worked in the store, and he talking about that's my cousin. I told him I don't give a fuck. Fuck you, right?
Mhm.
What you want to do? She said she told me that he just speaking. People can't speak to me, and I'm going like that's when it dawned on me that they got kissing cousins around here. You know,
Okay. Mhm.
I I think they kissing cousins. I don't know. If she was, I had female cousins. If somebody spoke to them, I wouldn't jump up and say that's my cousin. It wouldn't matter to me one way or the other. She can have herself. She's a grown woman,
Right.
But that's the kind of reaction I get around here from people for 5 years. So I don't go out and go out of my way to be nice to nobody. I'm cordial and very businesslike, but I don't go to none of their functions. I don't hang out with them. I got nothing to say to them. Don't want nothing to do with them. You
I
know,
definitely understand.
'Cause, I mean, everybody in Fremont is cousins. I found out most of them.
Mm.
75% of these people around here related to each other, blacks and whites. So who was they dating on Friday and Saturday night? Where was they going? Who was they getting with? You feel me? For them to be so protective because I'm from up north, and so I'm good. I'm fine. I know how to keep it moving.
Okay. Okay. Well, uh, okay. Well, to wrap it up, where where do you see yourself at? If the good Lord gives you, let's say 5, 10, 20, you live to 110 more years, where do you see you living the rest of your lives? Well, excuse me, the rest of your years out? Doing what?
Um, between Atlanta and DC, one of those. No place
Okay.
else.
Okay.
Uh, I want to go to Atlanta, make some money, and then maybe go to DC and retire. Be cool when I get 80. But for that, I gotta run down there and make some money. You know.
Are you working on any new projects?
No, I'm just. Uh, I'm talking to some people. I'm trying to find someone who will invest in a business. Let me use my ideas and their money, but don't treat me like an employee. I want my name on some of the paperwork
Okay.
I don't want to be somebody's employee. Because nobody, I don't put in applications everywhere that you can in North Carolina. Nobody, as soon as they pull up my prison record, no, that's all right.
Right.
And those that don't want to use that say, well, you 70 years old. You 70 now. I'm 71. You
Right.
71 years old. Um, what can you do at 71 years old?
Right.
And I don't want to say let me go out there and work a day for free to show you because
Right.
I'm not gonna give them no free labor. But I'm not also not gonna go out there for minimum wage and work like a
Hmm.
Hebrew slave for them to say, well,
Exactly.
you know, um, you do all right, but we can't use you. Here's $35 for a whole day. I'm gonna be upset, and I know I'm
Hmm.
gonna be upset, and I might try his chin and rummage through his pockets while he's laying on the ground. So to keep the police off of me, I stay out of the way. I apply for jobs within my skill set, within my physical capability set, and other than that, I don't mess around, and nobody will hire me. Uh, I'm not saying they'll hire me in Georgia or in DC, but if I can get I have an idea for a business that I think will prosper, and I just need some capital to get going, you know.
Okay.
Uh, and working a job's not going to get it. I'm sitting down drawing my idea up, researching the cost of materials, and um, asking people with the money to say, look, uh, give me a shot.
Okay. And how long have you been out of prison? What was the last day, or when was the last day, may I say, you've been out of prison? You've stepped out, haven't went back, just so we can get a general idea of your rehabilitation, like when the process started.
December 25th, 2015.
Oh, okay, on Christmas Day. Mm. So what has been your biggest um motivation, or what has kept you out? What do you do daily to make sure you don't go back?
Ain't shit in prison.
Okay.
And I've outgrown all of the bullshit I could get in. Uh, um, I spent 20 years in Atlanta as a real hustler with real gangsters,
Mhm.
and I'm not prepared to do the things that I was doing in Atlanta ever again. You know, I was chasing that dollar for real down there, and I had to do some things I didn't want to do, but it was business, it wasn't pleasure. And I'm consciously saying no, 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 no. I'm not going to do that. If you want to do that yourself. I'm not doing that. So, some guys come to you with half-baked schemes about big money fast. Can't do that to me. That's not going to happen. Because I know big money fast is big prison sentence fast, uh, or a bullet in the back of the head, or they they rat you out, or
Mm.
1,000 things can happen to you, and ain't none of them good.
Right.
So, uh, um, like Fremont they got water meters in the ground that's charging people more for water than what they're supposed to. It's getting ready to be an uprising over here. People figuring it out. People
Mhm.
from the north moving down here, and they know how to read the meters.
Mhm.
Down the corner, got them going there. I mean, he gonna show me what they're doing. So uh, it's that's a hustle. They're making money like that. That's a hustle for Fremont.
Mhm.
I'm being hustled and taken advantage of, which is what
Mhm.
I did in Atlanta. I was hustling, taking advantage of people. Same
Right.
thing, same thing. So if you want to live your life sucker free, find out what's going on and just and don't let them make a sucker out of you. You know. So
Well, I would like to thank you for coming on. And could you just tell little Ralph something? If you could go back in time, what would you tell little Ralph?
don't be a burden to your family. Don't bring trouble to your door. Don't bring trouble home. Not saying that I did, but some of the things I did in life were back then were problematic, and those are kind of problems I don't want to take home. You know, little things. Be a different kind of little guy. Stay in school, be smart, and try to get a degree. Try to or a skilled trade. Get something that you can use to live to pay your way through life. And
I'd
that's
like to thank you so much, Ralph Wilkins. It was such a pleasure. And we'll be ending this now.
This conference will now be recorded.
I lift my shirt and show you the shit.
You'll see the stairwell.
Screwdriver. I was in the shower. He ran up on me, yank, but he had dreads like you, right? I saw him flopping, and I kind of did like that, and all he did was knock a chunk off my back. But when he tried to get away, I got them dreads.
Yeah, there it is, right there.
See the slice mark down below it?
Right. Yeah. God.
Yeah.
That's tight there.
Huh?